'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where you ought to be. And when you find yourself in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight.
When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Berkeley. My name is Reverend Dr. Catherine J. And I am so glad that you're here today. Whatever you are holding in your heart, in your soul, in your body, know that there is space for it in this sanctuary. We are here for each other. If you're new here today, I want to especially welcome you and know that you are welcome no matter who you love or how you make your living, no matter how you experience the sacred. You are welcome here in the fullness of your being. We have lunch after service every Sunday. Today is a potluck, so who knows what's going to happen out there. But you can go straight through the atrium into the social hall and grab some lunch after service is over. If on your way you find yourself with a moment, we have big cards that we sign every Sunday for people. So stop by and write a note for someone who couldn't be here today or who is celebrating a major milestone birthday. We also, in the back of the sanctuary, have a memory book that you can sign. If you came here with something heavy on your heart that you want lifted up in prayer, or a joy that you want lifted up in prayer, sign the memory book, and I will read it later during prayer time. If you find yourself not quite ready to take that step, feel free to go back and light a candle and know that we will be holding your joys and sorrows in our hearts. What else do I have to say? I want to say that before we sing our first hymn, we're going to stand, we're going to rise in body and spirit, and the first thing we do is we're going to stand and wave to the people who are joining us online. Hello, everyone. And then we're going to turn and greet our neighbors.
part.
Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song.
I'd like to invite Linda Heidegger and Mabel and Reuben Sherman to come up and light our chalice this morning. These are words from Kathleen McTeague. We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see their communion, the reflection of our own eyes. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope, is hallowed by our presence together. Thank you. Thanks, Reuben.
Ready? Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Ooh, wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Have you seen the ghost of John? Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on?
Thank you. Thank you so much. For October, our religious education opening song has been Gathered Here. So we're going to sing that now. Anyone from RE who has been singing this song with us all month is welcome to come up to the chancel and stand with us and sing it. And we're going to see if we can, what is it? Spirit draw near. So also, congregation, you're welcome to sing with us. And the final word is spirit draw near. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to draw the Spirit of John near, but we can try. We can try. That's what we're doing. All right. All right, so we're going to start. We're going to sing it in unison, and then we'll do it in the round. Okay. Drum first, right? Drum first, right?
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the struggle and the power, gathered here in the struggle and the power, spirits drawn in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the struggle and the power, gathered here in the struggle and the power, spirit draw near, spirit draw near, spirit draw near, spirit draw near.
Thank you, Children's Choir. This morning's story, The Jug on the Rock, comes from Tibet, and it opens with a milkman traveling around his village, calling out, "Dara for sale, Dara for sale." It's the sweet or curdled yogurt-like milk that he would pour from his large clay jug into the outstretched pitchers of the villagers. They would give him a few coins in exchange, and that's how he made his living. The milkman, he was an honest man and a hard-working man. He cared for his elderly mother and for his entire family. By noontime, he was tired, so he sat down, he put his jug on a rock, he leaned up against another one, pulled out his momo dumplings, and began to eat. As he did, he heard a voice call out, "Tashi de lek." Now, can you say that with me? Tashi de lek. It was a shepherd approaching with his goat. The milkman called back, and it's important for the story that you say it a little louder this time. Ready? Tashi de lek. Well, the milkman said it so loudly, it surprised the goat, who knocked over the jug and crash, it broke into pieces. Bummer. The milkman was so upset, and so was the shepherd. The shepherd was also an honest man, a hard-working man who had an elderly mother and cared for his family. Neither one had extra money, and they began to argue over who would pay for the jug. Well, their argument wasn't going anywhere. They decided to take it to court. And court in those days was at the monastery, at the temple, and the judge was a monk. So the two men walked up the hill, went to the temple, they bowed for the monk, and the monk began to listen to them as they told their stories. He thought, and then he said to the milkman, "You are not to blame. Yes, you could have put your jug in a better place, but there's no fault there." And he turned to the shepherd, and he said, "It wasn't you, it was your goat. You are not responsible either. What we need to do is to bring the goat and the rock to court." Now, the goat came willingly, but the rock, well, it took 20 villagers to move the rock up the hill. And as they did, people began to gather. And some of them were laughing and kind of making fun of the monk. When they were gathered, the monk said, "Some of you think I am being ridiculous, but do you really think I am going to apply the law to a rock and to a goat?" Well, he let his words sink in, and then he began to smile. He said, "Well, those of you who thought that was improper thought. And do you know the fine for improper thought? It's 1 tam. And a tam was a little copper coin, the kind of thing that everyone had in their pocket, kind of like a penny or a nickel. It wasn't much for anyone. The monk held out his hands. People came up to him and dropped their coins in his hands. Some of them even smiled When people had come up, he turned to the milkman and said, "Here, this should be enough for a new jug." And the next morning, the village woke up to hear, "Daughter for sale, daughter for sale." And they responded by saying, "Tashi de lek, tashi de lek." And that is how a community solved the case of the jug on the rock. Thank you all, and we will sing the children out with safe passages. Would you rise in body and spirit as you're able? And let's sing them out.
On your way, children, safe passage on your way, sisters, safe passage on your way, sweet children, safe passage on your way. May you have safe passage, safe passage. May we have safe passage. Safe passage on your way.
This is the fourth year that the Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity, also known as I Am 4HI, has organized pilgrimages to the ICE prisons in the Central Valley of California. As you know, ICE is short for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. You may also remember that I Am 4HI was one of our good neighbors last spring. Mary and I, this is Mary, took the opportunity to join the pilgrimage this year. It was called the Convergence to Reclaim Our Power, and in Spanish it was called Encuentro por la Dignidad. The pilgrimage was designed to let the private prison corporations and ICE know that faith groups are opposed to putting immigrants in cages, and that we protest the deplorable conditions in the ICE prisons. We were there to show our support for the people who are incarcerated and for their families. We were there to ask local governments to work towards expelling ICE from their cities.
We found another purpose for ourselves, which was becoming part of a community of allies. Marching, singing, praying, and listening together was a moving experience we couldn't have had by merely watching it on TV, reading about it, or hearing it. These are some of the things that we saw and learned together. We drove to McFarland, which is a small town in the Central Valley. What shocked us about the town is that there was no clean drinking water coming out of the faucets. The people of McFarland have been told not to wash dishes or even their bodies in the water coming out of their taps. We volunteered to register around 100 people from the Bay Area, introducing ourselves, learning many of their names, and passing out T-shirts and agendas. Eventually, we were joined by around 100 more people from local faith organizations. After lunch, 17 of us went to the detention center in McFarland to honor previously arranged appointments to visit specific incarcerated people. The prison has the sweet name of Golden State Annex. When we arrived at the prison, we were told to come back an hour later than what our scheduled appointments were. When we returned, we were told there would be no visitations allowed that day. So, we decorated our vehicles and caravaned to the Golden State Annex to show the town that we were there.
At the prison, IM4H8I held a press conference. They told about this prison being owned by the GEO Group Incorporated. GEO stands for George, the first name of the CEO. The GEO Group is a corporation worth $3 billion. It is notorious for mistreatment of people that ICE delivers to them. GEO is paid $165 a day for each person they hold. If someone is held there for just a month, that comes to almost $5,000. If the 640 people currently incarcerated there are kept for just 1 month, that comes to over $3 million of our money. Even though we were not allowed to enter and see for ourselves or to talk to the people inside personally, we heard reports of their terrible treatment. The people imprisoned face solitary confinement if they don't work all day. They do the laundry, they do the cooking and the serving of meals and all of the cleaning, and they are paid $1 a day. That's not even enough to buy a package of ramen in the commissary. Prisoners complain that there has not been water for drinking or even washing, while people outside the prison were dependent on bottled and filtered water. People inside were forced to go without.
On Saturday, we sang, chanted, and marched through Bakersfield to the GEO Group's Mesa Verde ICE Processing Center. We created a memorial there for a man who died in the GEO prison. He had asked for medical care, was placed in solitary confinement because he complained, and at 74, he died while waiting for care. Can we have the photo for that, please? Thank you. And now the next. Members of our community of allies intended to visit immigrants held inside Mesa Verde. And again, GEO decided to close all visitation. That meant that families who had traveled to visit their loved ones were unable to see them as well. It was heartbreaking to hear their stories and see their tears. May we have the photo of the families, please? Thank you. That gentleman's wife was in there. We had strong leaders, as well as several clergy members of various faiths. They led us in prayers and song to console family members, letting them know that they are not alone, and widening our sense of community. And the next one, please. Thank you. A highlight in Bakersfield was a video call from someone inside Mesa Verde who was able to connect a couple of families with their mothers and wives inside. The imprisoned women expressed appreciation and excitement over us being there for them, expanding our sense of community with them even further.
The final ICE prison the group visited was a newly opened prison in California City. You've heard of it, right? In the Mojave Desert. ICE opened it in August 2025 without permits that are required by California City or by the state of California. The prison is owned by Core Civic, the world's largest private prison company. The California City Prison has a capacity of 2,560 people. There have already been reports of medical neglect, poor working conditions, forced labor, understaffing, and preventable deaths.
We hope you see how this experience broadened who we consider to be part of our community. These are our friends and neighbors in there who have done no wrong. If you are moved to join the community of immigrant allies, please use this QR code to keep up with local opportunities. Copies of the QR code are available each Sunday on the social justice table in the atrium. Jen McDougall continuously updates this smorgasbord of solidarity actions. If you don't see anything that calls you today, go back tomorrow. And talk to us about joining our vigils outside the immigration courts in Concord every Tuesday. Thank you, our beloved community.
Now we're going to hear from Paul Robles, who is going to sing to us in honor of Filipino Heritage Month. The English words will be on the screen.
Ang bayan kong Pilipinas, tupain ang kinto't bulaklak, pag-ibig ang sa kanyang palad, nag-alay ng ganda't dilag, at sa kanyang yumi at ganda, dayuhan ay nahalina, bayan ko binihag ka, nasaktan sa dusa. Ibon man may layang lumipad, kulungin mo at umiyak, bayan pa kayang sakdal dilag, di maglanas ang makapas. Pilipinas kong minumutya, hugad ng luha ko't dalita, aking adhika, makita kang sakdalaya. Ibon man may layang lumipad, kulungin mo at umiyak, bayan pa kayang sakdal dilag, ang di magnasang makalpas. Pilipinas kong minumutya, hugad ng luha ko't dalita, aking adhika, makita kang sakdal
I invite you to take a moment and settle more deeply in your seat, into this moment, this place. Put your feet on the ground if you can and feel the connection to the earth beneath us. Take a deeper breath. Feel it go all the way down. Let the Spirit breathe with and through us. Spirit of life and love, the force of compassion, source of radiance and reason, God of many names and yet beyond all naming, thank you. We offer thanks for inflatable frog costumes and people willing to laugh in the face of oppression. We give thanks for friends who text animal videos when we're sad. We're grateful for small bursts of rain that nourish the earth. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, It can be so easy to forget. Help us remember that we are all beautiful in our own sacred imperfection. Remind us we never know how our small activities will affect others through the invisible fabric of our connectedness. Help us to mirror and magnify each other's light. And give us the courage to speak out against those who aim to hurt us and our neighbors. Be with us as we reach out to those furloughed from government jobs, those worried about how to pay the bills. Remind us that we have the strength to accompany hurting people through difficult times. We pray for those who care for family members in ill health and for those who are struggling with their own health concerns. We also pray for all in harm's way and for the wisdom and strength of the leaders of the world as together we live into our longing to embody and help build the beloved community. Now please join me in a time of stillness and quiet. In this community of care and witness, we hold one another through the seasons of our lives and lift up those joys and sorrows among us each week. For Suzanne, who recently miscarried, that she may find some comfort and peace as she goes through her life. For Daniel, who has lost his way. Janice is thinking of Diane, who passed away 23 years ago yesterday, best friend and wonderful hospice nurse. Linda Laskowski celebrates with Claire Baker. Claire received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Ida Coolbirth Circle, one of the oldest poetry associations in the United States. And Sheila and Vern are celebrating their first granddaughter, Abigail's first birthday. She's thrilled. May all those whose sorrows and concerns have been shared feel comfort, support, and assurance that we are here and need not bear any burden alone. We also hold those whose concerns are still too delicate to leave the silent sanctuary of their heart. No one should feel forgotten. Spirit of love, hear our joys, that they be multiplied by every heart that receives them, and bear our sorrows with the reminder that we are not alone. There is love holding us as we hold each other. May it be so. Amen. Now please remain seated and join in singing hymn 318, We Would Be One.
world that we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
We've all heard the mantra that community will save us. I think I've said it from this very pulpit, and Reverend Marcus has too. Pundits and political scientists agree. The stronger our community ties, the better we can advance our progressive values. The steady drumbeat of evil demands a rise in value-based communal power to protect those we love. We know vibrant, engaged communities help oppose the growing authoritarian threat facing our country. We also know that community can be a balm against the scourge of loneliness. We've experienced that belonging to a community helps us be spiritually alive and emotionally aware. All of you have shown up here on a Sunday morning, so perhaps I'm preaching to the choir, though the choir isn't here today. But let's acknowledge that community doesn't just happen. It's not quick, it's not easy. Communities that make a difference take practice, dedication. Saying communities matter feels right. Establishing and sustaining those communities' work is harder to achieve. My wife Elizabeth and I learned this recently. Back in January, someone posted flyers around our neighborhood inviting folks to a low-key gathering in her backyard. My neighbor had also heard those pundits extol the need for neighborhood solidarity and decided to take action. Elizabeth and I walked over. We've lived in our neighborhood for 21 years, and we had never met a single person in that backyard. It was a sobering reminder that proximity doesn't automatically translate into community. Elizabeth and I signed up to make a larger neighborhood gathering happening. A small group of us made more flyers, left them at every door in a 2-block radius, and then hosted a potluck in the mini park nearby. All kinds of neighbors showed up. Our local city council member made an appearance. People signed up to be on an email list. It felt like a success. So we did it again. And the second time, a band played with a tuba. More people came. Some of the same ones from the first potluck, others attracted by the music. Again, the event felt like a success. So our effort had meaning. I recognize a few of my neighbors now. I'm friendly with the co-organizers. We'll probably host another potluck in the spring. But it would take many more events and organizational energy to foster a strong neighborhood community. The why of reaching out to our neighbors made perfect sense. The how of melding us into a community feels more challenging. After that second neighborhood potluck, I thought, maybe this would work if we met more regularly, if we had some programming, some activity to share. Friends, I wanted to turn it into church. which is where we encounter each other over and over again with all sorts of things to do together. Coo at new babies, grieve each other's losses, be on that lunch team, help each other age with dignity, learn about justice, practice hope and faith. Church has some major advantages in the community building realm. Now, some of you did a bit of community building recently by attending a 6-week session here at the church to read House of Hope, a book about UU theology by Reverends Rebecca Parker and John Burens. In one chapter, Parker and Burens tell the story of La Chambonne. La Chambonne is a small village in France that hid thousands of Jews during World War II, even as very few other villages did. Why? Why did these villagers hide Jewish refugees in their attics, their barns, their cellars, at great personal risk? Other villages didn't. What made La Chambonne different? Well, the people of this village were part of a minority Protestant religion, the Huguenots, who worshiped together despite state repression and a lingering history of religious persecution. They held on to the spirit of love and comforted each other through hard times. Maybe that's why all 13 pastors in Chambon participated in the effort to save Jewish refugees. When people of the village were asked later about their courageous choice, they said it was simply the shape their souls had. Simply the shape their souls had. Community worship had forged their souls into vessels for courage and resistance. How do we, UUCB, create a community right now that shapes our souls so that we can be a sanctuary for those in need? I have a few suggestions. I'd love to hear yours after the service. First, we accept that spiritual growth and depth is not just an individual undertaking. We all come here on Sundays for ourselves, to sit quietly, to cry, to remember people that we love. Maybe some of you come for the shared moments of silence, or to listen to the majesty of Katja's organ, or to be with friends. Maybe you're here out of habit. Maybe you're here to feel the Spirit move through you. Maybe it's the free lunch. It doesn't matter why you're here. All those reasons are valid. But know that you are not here just for yourself, even if that's your intention. We are collectively incubators for each other's souls. I have a Minnesota friend, I'll call him Thomas, who refers to himself as an agnostic with a strong lean towards atheism. Yet he attends the local UU church with a near religious fervor. I once asked him why. Going to church, Thomas said, offers me a weekly refresher that values and ethics matter. My church community helps me grow a moral backbone. My church community helps me grow a moral backbone. Faith might feel like the most private thing, but it's not. As Thomas understands, faith is communal and contagious. Faith is what our hands all hold together when none of us is strong enough to hold on by ourselves. Faith requires community. Just acknowledging this fact can change us. make us a little less individualistic, because we cannot grow a moral backbone all by ourselves. We need help. Now, once we've acknowledged that we're here to help everyone grow in faith, we can practice a more inclusive, more radical sense of welcome and belonging. Again, not easy. Radical welcome takes practice. We're human. We mostly want to hang out with the people we already know. We want to sit in the same pew. How many of you are sitting in the same pew? Yeah. We want to do things the way we've always done them, hear the music we've always enjoyed. But incubating community, doing that hard how work, asks us to change, to hear new sounds, to listen to new opinions, occasionally rearrange the furniture. Welcome, radical welcome and belonging is also a vibe. When I think about radical welcome, I think back to family gatherings at my Aunt Ola Mae's house. The house itself was not the point. It had a threadbare carpet and a couch with a comfortable sag, faded wallpaper, a screened-in porch that ran all along the back. It was Aunt Ola Mae herself who created an environment of warmth and love. When I visited other relatives' house, I would go hide under the bed with the dust and read until my mother would pull me out and make me be polite. At Aunt Ola Mae's house, I sat in the kitchen as women swapped stories. I wandered into the living room and watched football with the men. Mind you, these were the exact same relatives that I hid from at other places. But it somehow felt different at Aunt Ola Mae's house. Other than making sure there was a delicious pecan pie on the table, Aunt Ola Mae didn't have very many hard and fast rules. It was the rare place in my childhood where new ideas felt welcome. And nurturing a community robust enough to counter authoritarianism means creating that same sweet Aunt Ola Mae vibe. It means imagining a place where every person, in all their peculiarity, in all their difference, feels like they belong. Maybe we even want to create some dust-free spaces for those who need to hide away and read. This vibe might require us to loosen our grip on old traditions, not let them go, but allow space for new traditions to emerge. If we can do this, let ourselves get a little bit uncomfortable to make other people feel more comfortable, something will shift in us. Our own communal resilience will deepen. Our souls will expand to make room for more spirit, more love. Here's 3. The how of community also means we learn respectful ways to disagree. We acknowledge our mistakes, and we apologize when we mess up. So mistakes. We make them a lot. It's part of being human. It's part of doing church. It's part of being community. That siren call of perfectionism, combined with a sense of certainty about our own position, means that many of us struggle to admit our mistakes. I know I do. I imagine that a lot of us do. And that need to be perfect, to look good, to be right, means our mistakes often linger, get compounded, come to define us in unhealthy ways. Mistrust festers, small arguments get amplified, positions harden. That's when we stop listening. That's when we give up on each other. Trust disappears, and the how that critical how of community begins to collapse. If we want to live into our mission to create loving community, inspire spiritual growth, and encourage lives of integrity, joy, and service, we have to make sure we talk to each other with respect and compassion. Repair starts with acknowledging our mistakes, talking to people who disagree with us, looking back at ancient arguments, making amends, starting again. Beginning to heal those communal differences strengthens our muscles for bigger community. And it gives us the energy to pay attention to the larger forces besetting us. To practice community requires that we pitch in and volunteer. We don't just think, we don't just feel, we do. If we want a powerful, moral, backbone-building community, all of us need to pitch in and make it happen. That means volunteering. Now, yes, I am the minister of community life, congregational life, and volunteer recruitment is a part of my job. So of course I believe this. I also believe it because it's true. And I get it. We are all overwhelmed. There's so much to do every single day. There are cross-town errands and carting children to soccer or swimming or fencing lessons. There's making dinner. There's working long days, taking care of sick parents, going to another protest. The emotional toll of current administrative policies don't help. It can feel impossible to add more to what you're already doing. And so many folks I talk to tell me they come to church to sit quietly in a communal space. That's what they need. Sitting in the pews, singing together, breathing together in meditation, these refresh our spirit. But serving together, whether on a I don't even like to say it, committee, serving on a committee, or at lunch, builds bonds, adheres us to each other. Volunteering is more than volunteering. It's getting to know each other in new, fresh ways. It can even be fun. Some of you already give generously of your time, and thank you. Showing up for a volunteer work party helps the church 100%. So does volunteering in religious education classes, or helping to design the altar, or writing thank you cards. Taking on projects, large and very, very small, for this community strengthens the whole and helps us as individuals, because sharing tasks cultivates trust, connects us ever more deeply with each other. Doing is critical to the how of church, to the how of community. And finally, go beyond. Take this community into the world. Pundits and political sciences extol the power of community because vibrant communities give their members the courage and fortitude to confront evil. UUCB is already pretty good at this. Francie and Mary's journey to the Central Valley is a great example. Reverend Marcus protesting ICE in Alameda is another one. All of us carrying signs and making phone calls, volunteering at food banks and for the local high schools, we are taking our community values out into the world. And if we keep growing our communal muscles, building our moral backbones, shaping our souls, our contributions to the world will expand and spread. There's no better time than right now to illustrate the how and the why of community for ourselves, for our neighbors, for our friends, for our country. Let us rejoice in practicing together. Let us become the community we aspire to. And then let us become a sanctuary for those who need us. May it be so. Amen.
Hello. I'm Celine Fabiano, and I'm the Secretary of your Board of Trustees. In our covenantal community, we share the responsibility for pursuing our mission by giving generously of our time, talent, and treasure. I invite you to support the work of our church by giving a financial contribution. There are a couple of ways you can do this. You can give electronically by scanning the QR code on your badge, or you can put a cash or check donation into the donation envelope in the pew pocket in front of you. When you leave the service, you can then put the envelope into the donation box beside the atrium, beside the fountain in the atrium. Each week, half of our offering is shared with a nonprofit Good Neighbor organization. The Good Neighbor for this month is Tiny Village Spirit. The mission of Tiny Village Spirit is to work to end the crisis of homelessness through engaging communities in constituent-led development of decent, dignified emergency housing villages, and in community organizing for systemic change toward creating housing justice. Will you join me in rededicating ourselves to our mission? We dedicate our offering and ourselves to the mission of this congregation to create loving community, inspire spiritual growth, and encourage lives of integrity, joy, and service. Thank you.
Hola, buenos días. Me llamo Charis Domador. My name is Charis Domador. And if you're new to our church and you'd like to learn more about how to get connected, I welcome you to find me or any of the greeters at the welcome table in the atrium after the service. To find out what's happening in the life of our community, you can always check the news link on the homepage of our website, where you'll find our weekly email newsletter, The Week Ahead, which includes a list of activities, announcements, and contact information. This week, I want to especially lift up the following. Today, after the service, we're holding the third session of Pathway to Connection, where we'll explore an overview of UU theology and our own personal theologies. Pathway to Connection is especially useful for people who have newly joined the church or are considering becoming members. Now is the time to help shape UUCB's 2026 Good Neighbor program. The Social Justice Council invites us to nominate local nonprofits that live out our UU values of love, justice, and community care. October 31st is the deadline to submit your nominations. Our Coming of Age youth are hosting a haunted house on Sunday, November 2nd. Come support them and enjoy some spooky, family-friendly fun. It's sure to be a treat for all ages. Don't miss it. And lastly, did you know that our Sunday sermons are now available in podcast form? You can listen anytime on your favorite podcast app. Let's rise once more in body or spirit and join in singing our closing song. Gracias.
Am we open, and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting to my family, there is sorrow in my town, there is panic in the nation, there is wailing the whole world round. For I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly, may the elders be more wise, may the winds of change caress us, even though it burns our eyes. For I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift us up to the light of change. Give me a mighty arm to hold my confusion. Hold me.
Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to build my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. For I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless
would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift us up to the light of change.
I'd like to invite everyone, if you're comfortable, to reach out and take a hand if there's no one near you. Oh, you can go find somebody, that's true. You can also just hold your hand up for the people who aren't yet here with us, or for the people who are online. Grab a hand and know that we feel the muscles in people's fingers and hands, feel the warmth of their palms, and know that this is your community. This is the how of community. Let's go forth and do the why of community. Because our service today has ended, but our service in the world has just begun. Amen. Maybe so.